Oh boy, this would be hilarious if it wasn't so sad, if there weren't millions of people hurting because of this very thing going on. The IMF, International Monetary Fund, anticipates deal with Argentina in days. Peso to weaken. You think? You think? The problem with this, and Alex Gladstein wrote an unbelievable book, Check Your Financial Privilege. And he wrote a new one about the IMF specifically that just came out as well. Please go check those books out. I'll try to link them in here again. I don't know what to say at this point. We have Bitcoin. You have a neutral money that captures deflation and brings it back in the wealth to the people, to your own people as a government. And you are the people. The government is the people as well. This is amazing. And yet we're here taking crony bailouts from the IMF. And this is because the people you see in those pictures with the IMF and a glad handing, God don't like it either. Like we said in the last video, God don't like that. He don't like crony bailouts. That's some serious stuff, guys. He don't like crony bailouts. And this is mind-blowing. This is mind-blowing that we continue to be okay with this and that people of countries don't stand up, because the people that are glad-handing, that are in the pictures with the IMF people, like, oh, yucking it up and shaking hands, those people that benefit, those people that get it, those 10, 20, 30 people at the top, very top, they get these bailouts. They're the ones that launder the money. They're the ones that extort it and take it from the people. And who knows how much, hundreds of millions, billions of dollars. If they get 40 million or 20 million or $100 million bailout, they get, a billion or two get siphoned away into the pockets of the people at the top. They love it. So of course they're not going to go to Bitcoin. The people at the bottom, the 99%, the middle class and the poor, the ones that have to stand up and say, no more. We are not doing this. That's why it was revolutionary, AKA Revolutionary War in America. Hello, which is the only time in history like El Salvador and Nayib Bukele coming in from the top and saying, you're not going to get that very often. The American Revolution was one of the only times, if not, I believe the only time in human history where the people at the top, the people that were the wealthiest said, no, we're not doing this anymore. We are pledging our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honor. No one reads that in Western schools anymore. No one reads that in America anymore. No one understands that the people at the top said, we're not doing this anymore. The king needs to step aside. We have had enough of this. We pledge our lives, our fortunes, and our sacred honors. And this is the world that we must get back to, where the people all over, the people at the top that get it, and then the middle class and the poor say, no, because this kind of stuff has got to stop. Where Argentina is already having problems, high inflation, catastrophic things going on with their currency, and they're just going to continue down that same road. This will be next 5-10 years, the same thing will happen here. I guarantee it. Mark my words, the same thing will happen. By the end of the next decade, same thing will happen. More IMF bailouts, enriching a few people at the top. IMF gets theirs. They're making money off the backs of the Argentinian people. The incentives that are in those loan agreements, if you read them, hey, we're going to pay interest to the IMF off the backs of the people, the bond market, etc., their agriculture, their exports. We're going to do this. And just to show you here, again, corn exporters will be able to sell their goods abroad for less of an import, less of a tax. They will have less of a tax when you're exporting something, selling something, than you will if you're importing. So they're going to levy a 7.5% tax on some good imports coming in. So they're going to make it even harder for people to get goods in the country. So who's going to, that cost gets passed on to the people. So not many of those things are going to be scarcity because people aren't going to be selling as much. We're like, well, why would I pay extra to do that? This is how cronyism works. This is how governments work. They don't have incentive to do things properly. They think they can just move little pieces on a table around and it just does whatever they want it to do. Argentina faces maturities with IMF worth some $3.4 billion between July and August, at a time when the central bank's net reserves are about $6.5 billion in the red. Are you kidding me? Buenos Aires is hoping to alter economic goals it had agreed with the fund and bring some IMF disbursements scheduled for this year, bring forward some of the disbursements. So getting more money from IMF quicker because they have no money. They're in the red. I mean, think about this. And yet we're not going to use Bitcoin. We're not going to use equity money, commodity money, equity. Instead, we're just going to go further into debt. We're going to indebt ourselves and our people even more. We're going to enrich. Again, the only people that benefit are the people at the top, the 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 people at the top making the decisions, the people in the pictures. That's it. The people aren't benefiting. Tell me where the people are benefiting. This is just clown world. Absolute clown world. We have Bitcoin. This is not financial advice. This is freedom advice. This is common sense advice. This is unbelievable. Under the current program, the country is expected to get this. They could get these disbursements by the end of the year, the next couple months. And these disbursements are mainly used to repay a failed 2018 bailout. What did I just say? In the next 10 years, not even, this will happen again. They'll go under again, and this will happen again. Argentina's had their currency reset 5 or 6 times in the last 30 years. 2018. So that's 5 years ago they had this happen. A bailout then as well. Argentina, which is also struggling with high inflation and a significant fiscal deficit, has suffered a considerable hit to its foreign currency income due to a severe drought. Okay, and a severe drought of knowledge and common sense. That's what the severe drought was. The IMF said the agreement seeks to consolidate fiscal order and strengthen reserves, acknowledging the impact of the drought. Clown world. Absolute clown world, guys. This doesn't have to be your country. This doesn't have to be anyone. People all around the world are slowly waking up to the fact that Bitcoin is changing the world. Not the price of Bitcoin, the actual stability, not the morons that say, oh, I don't have to. No. The dollar, the fiat currency is what does this, not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is only 21 million. That's what people don't understand. There's only 21 million Bitcoin. It's stable. It's a control in the experiment. It's the yardstick. Everything is measured off of. These currencies, like we just showed, are doing this all the time. They're waving wildly up and down. And that's where someone the other day came out on my YouTube video, which ironically was about 5-6 years ago. Bitcoin's only doubled in fiat price. The price, priced in fiat, in the US dollar, since 2017. And what he's saying, he doesn't even understand, is that means that the dollar has been cut in half. So if you're holding Bitcoin over the last 6 years, your purchasing power against Bitcoin has been cut in half. But if you're holding Bitcoin, you're not able to buy double the amount of goods if you were holding Bitcoin that entire time. So don't let someone tell you, oh, Bitcoin's it's volatile. Yeah, maybe in a 3-month, 6-month time span. That's because the fiat currencies are doing this. But over the long term, in any elastic supply, only 21 million, more and more people, like we've seen, BlackRock, Mass Mutual, insurance companies, countries, public companies are coming more and more to the hardest asset ever discovered. It's a no-brainer. This is not rocket science. This is it's so important. Again, giving freedom and financial rights to people, quite honestly, property rights, giving people their sovereignty over their wealth. This is the most important, the biggest human rights thing and civil rights issue I've ever seen, by far, for the entire world, I appreciate you being here. Appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. Please share us out. The algorithm hates truth. Question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. Trust but verify. And this is not financial advice, it's freedom advice. I will also try to link to Alex Glanstein's books below as well. That goes all into detail about how the IMF rickrolls people all the time. Country after country after country, steals their resources, says, we're going to give you this more fiat currency, but you're going to give us interest payments, you're going to give us these resources, these commodities, these exports, whatever it is. They pillage these countries, and it's going to stop. It will stop. I'll see you in the next one.